Hello, everyone, and welcome to We Talk Real Talk. I am Ogunsuga Ibukunlua.
And I am Omonola Dekaka.
As you can see, we're both wearing green today.
I'll be your host for the most for today. So, diving right into it, today's episode is a deeply personal one. We're going to be talking about divorce, not just from the couple's perspective, but also from the parents' side and the children's perspective. We're trying to get everybody's point of view on this situation.
Before today, we sent out a survey form to people to know how they cope with divorce.
Yeah.
And the responses that we got were sad, truthful, and very disheartening, very raw as well. Divorce doesn't just affect two people, it affects the children, it affects their mind, it affects how people see marriage, and it affects how people see togetherness in general.
And the sad thing about this is that it's not like the people that get affected by this the most are the people who stay silent, the people who don't say anything about it.
And so today we're going to be reading out some of the responses from the respondents. We're not going to be disclosing their personal information. And just to say this, it's harder for African people, in African homes because they don't, communicate their feelings as much as, other people.
Also, we're just putting this out there, disclaimer. We're not professionals, but I think we know a little bit, we have a little bit one or two.
I mean, we're products of divorce personally, so I think we're in the best suit and position to talk about divorce.
Just give out little 2 cents here and there. Okay, everyone, we're back and we have some of the responses here. But before we get right into that, I just want to read a few of the questions where IBK will read the rest. So, our first question is whatever role you played during the process of divorce, whether that's of a child or a parent or an observer, what is the challenge that you faced that you wish others knew? Another question that we asked was everything changes because of divorce, as we already know. Reflecting on the biggest challenge you had to face during that difficult period, what was the most challenging thing about it, and how were you able to overcome this challenge?
And the last question we asked was, so what advice would you give to a new person just embarking on their journey? Tell us your story or share your experience with us. Anything that can help those coming behind you.
Okay, so the first respondent that we have says that divorce isn't the child's fault. What do you think?
I mean, I couldn't agree more. Divorce is never the child's fault.
I never ever. I don't think so.
Like the word goes, they're just children, and I do not think we should blame any child, or we should not blame children for the parents
The
separation.
decisions of the parents, yes. Because marriage, at the end of the day, marriage is about two people coming together to say, yes, I do, and I choose you over and over again. It's supposed to be built on love, communication, understanding. These are the values that are supposed to keep a marriage and a family alive.
And just to add to that, I feel like if anything, a child is the blessing from the union. So if anything, the child is to make the parents bond more and not to separate. So the child is not the fault. It's not the cause of the divorce.
Okay. The second person says that. Sorry, still the first person, but second response to the question is never engulf yourself with the issues. I also think this is very necessary because if you're closer to your mom or you're closer to your dad, you kind of have an inkling to side with whoever you're closer with during the divorce. I just think you should take yourself away from that situation if you're a child or if you're a family member, or I don't really think it's healthy to pick sides.
But we don't know that though, because like we've already stated, people are different and people react to situations differently as well. So we can't tell child A to react the same way child B would react. So I feel like if a child chooses to meddle in the issues of their parents, I feel it's because of experiences and how the child is feeling at the moment. So what we can advise you not to do is to don't think about it too much, even if I know that's not too possible, but don't think about it in the way that it affects your daily life.
Okay, and the response for the last question is hold on to God. Now I think this is very necessary. Like you need something to rest on, to rely on, to a shoulder to cry on.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes humans aren't the most reliable people, especially if you're a child and you see your parents getting divorced. Like, they're humans, so it's like, if I can't trust my parents, who can I trust? So just hold on to God. Everything will be fine at the end. Yeah.
Exactly, because before your mom and your dad, there's somebody that is also your parent, and that's God. So
Mm-hmm.
when you see that you can't speak to them, where else do you go to? Exactly.
Baba God.
Baba good, exactly. So moving on to the next response.
Mm-hmm.
The first response to the first question was stigma from the society. Let me just read out the first question again so that we're clear on what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever role you played during the process, whether that of a child, parent, or an observer, what is the challenge that you faced that you wish others knew? So stigma from the society as large. I think I want to take this one from a personal experience. So as you all know, and as we've mentioned before, we're products of divorce. And I went to the airport one day, and you know, my mom, I and my brother were on the line, waiting for our turn to did I say airport? So sorry, visa office. And we're trying to get our visa stamped and everything. And then the next thing they go is, where's your dad?
Mm.
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 Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I've not been with my dad for how many years? So why what question? But I just, I thought it was just the formalities. So I was like, my dad is not with us. This is young me, right? And my mom is like, the dad knows that we're traveling. He has approved of everything. I can call him. And the man proceeds to say, please step aside. I would attend to you soon. Do you know that this man attended to 6 other people before he actually attended to us, and he denied this visa? That stigma stood. It stayed with me till today. I'm always like, anytime I hear divorce, I just want to share that story because I know the stigma that any, not only child, any person that has experienced divorce, whether the child, whether the mother, the father, I know what they're going through. So I think yes, I agree with that person. The stigma from divorce is a
Yeah.
lot from society at large. hmm hmm Do you mind reading the second response?
Okay. So he says, this person says, I can't share in details, but I had my brother by my side the whole time. He was there for me. Now, I think this is a very beautiful response, especially if you do have siblings. So it's kind of like reassuring, or like a safe pillow, safe blanket, that you have siblings to rely on, that you know that you're not going through this alone. Because I mean, I can't say the same for an only child. I have siblings, so they've seen, we all witnessed what it was like going through when my parents were getting the divorce, so going through their separation and all of that. So I think this is a really sweet response, and I'm happy this person had their brother there by them, by their side.
I just like how this person's response is resonating so much with me. I also have a sibling, and that's my
Mm-hmm.
only brother. It's my elder brother, and I can say that it was two of us throughout the ride. When the divorce was fresh, now, before, during, it was just me and my brother standing together. And when we're talking about family values, I think love is the greatest out of all.
Yeah.
I feel like the brothers' love, the mother's love, the father's love, anybody in the family, the love does something that what's it called, that other emotions can't do. I feel like the amount of love you are shown after divorce, now it helps how you would recover from the experience.
And there's also a popular saying that goes, the only thing greater than hate is love. So I completely agree with you. Do you want to take the last one?
So the last response to the last question is just pray and listen to professionals to help direct or navigate the after effects of divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the like we've already mentioned that this person is spot on, right? I feel like using me again, listening to podcasts, listening to prayer sessions, listening to
Yeah.
people talk about their own, the how they cope with divorce just helps. It helped me, and I feel like anybody out there that you're going through this divorce phase, you're going through coping with divorce. I think that's the best thing for you to do, aside being with people that you love. Pray. Aside praying to God, listening to people talk about these things can also help you, because you might even be invited one day to talk about it, and that I think sharing helps, solves your problem.
I mean, I think that's the whole essence of this podcast, this
Mm-hmm.
platform, is to shine light on these issues, to just let you know that this is not a taboo. This is something that unfortunately has become a norm. It is very rampant nowadays. Families are going through this for a reason or another, and we just want you people to know that you're not alone. You always have a shoulder to cry on. So if not my own shoulder,
My
Abike's shoulder.
shoulder.
Abike's shoulder might be more comfortable, to cry on. But yes, I think this is another reason why this podcast exists. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll now move on to the third response. Okay, so the third response says it's a catalyst for maturity for sure, as an only child mediating between parents going through the divorce process. What do you think?
I think it's funny because I literally just said that I don't know, I can't speak from an only child's perspective, and here we have an only child's perspective. Like, isn't God good? Not that is the reason why your parents go like, well, God is good, but yeah.
So,
But I definitely think it is a catalyst for maturity. Being an only child, you have nobody to talk to about this type of thing, and I don't know the gravity of the divorce. We don't know if their parents separated amicably. Oh
amicably,
my!
my dear.
Thank you very much.
Amicably.
Amicably. I don't know if the parents separated, amicably, or if it was a lot of tussle and the child had to be involved. So we don't know. So I think having to, and it's sad because this person will probably think, oh, the only person I can rely on is myself, which is not true. But it is what it is at the end of the day, and it's very sad. But I'm happy the person was able to. I pray the person has pulled through, and if they haven't, I pray that they will be able to pull through, because this type of things, they do leave a lasting effect on people.
And if you're an only child out there and you're going through, coping with divorce, just know that everything is going to be fine and nothing is wrong with you. It is completely normal for people to sort of separate when everything is not fine. And I just know that you are the boldest person out there, because I did not do mine
Yeah,
alone. So I'm wondering
yeah.
how you're coping right now. So we will just move on to the next response.
Okay, so the same person says that the reflecting on their challenges, and the person says that getting your ears chewed off on behalf of another parent, you tend to zone out as a coping mechanism. I think I can speak on this. Even though
Okay.
I'm not an only child, I'm the oldest, and go and tell your mother this, go and tell your father that. It's something that I had to go through, and it wasn't the best space for a child to be in. It was horrible. So I can only imagine what this person had to go through, and the person was by themselves. It's like, wow, you're strong. But I think going back to what we said earlier, rely on God, don't rely on only yourself. Zoning out as a coping mechanism, I think it's normal. It's not normal. I think, at the end of the day, because these things do have a lasting effect, probably just reach out to a professional to help you and to get over this stigma that you have. This, not stigma, this what's the word? Trauma that your body has subconsciously gotten. Yeah.
And just to add, zoning out is completely normal. Not just because you're an only child, because we just don't want that back and forth.
Yeah.
Go and tell your dad that he has to pay the school fees.
Why? Why do I have
Why
to
do I
tell
have to be the one? Do you understand? But we understand that, divorce doesn't just affect the children,
Yeah.
but also the parents, the mother and the father. So I can just imagine how the mother is feeling, not able to, task the father for his responsibility, same as the father. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah. So then last response, is it the last one?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's the second to the last. Okay, it's the last one.
It's the last one.
Wow. Okay, so the last response is, all I can say is it's their mistake, not yours. You were unfortunately caught in the crossfire. There's a lot of things you hear you can't repeat, and it weighs on your chest. You're probably filtering the conversation so as to not offend either party. you are a lot tougher than you know. Unfortunately, that's a feat people attain when they're a lot older. The toughness, I mean, but you'll be fine. You're already fine. Don't take the fall for others people's shortcoming. Love you.
We love you too, whoever this person is.
Yeah, that was
Anonymous
such a
number
very
three.
nice comment
Yes,
for
we love you
anybody that
too.
is going through this. I think it's the best and the simple way
Yeah.
to put out, the experience that we're all going through and how we can overcome it. I think that's the best way to put it. I appreciate this response so much.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna read out one more
One more because of
response
time.
because of time. But
Yeah.
I know we know that this podcast is very interesting and it's very enlightening, but you have to bear with us because we just have to,
On a
close
time
this.
crunch, people.
Exactly.
Okay. So, do you want to take it? I think you should take it.
Okay, so the first response to the first question is it was difficult to feel loved. I was always angry. It was difficult to feel loved.
Yeah.
I was always angry. So I feel like in my the feeling in the statement is very important. Sometimes your parent, I don't know who you're living with. It might be your mother, it might be your father, but your mother might be trying her possible best to show you that she loves you and that she can be the parent for you. She can be your mother and she can be your father.
Yeah.
But because of the experience that everything you've gone through, you've gone through, everything you've seen, everything you've heard, it's like they don't care about me. They just left. Now I'm alone. I go to school. I cannot say my mom and my daddy were together. It's like there's a stigma, there's trauma. So it's more like, do they really love me? Why did they not just wait for me to grow older? Why did they separate? But I tell you that divorce doesn't mean your parents don't love you.
Mm.
I do not know how they are treating you. So I cannot say for sure. But what I know is that most parents, some parents even wait for their children to go old, to grow older before they like
Have
divorce,
a
like
proper.
before it's legal,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like whatever you're thinking, we've been saying God, 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 but that's the only truth. You can only pray. And I feel like the moment you forgive them and the moment you open your heart, you would start to feel more loved. But it's like there's a wound there that you do
Mm-hmm.
not want to let go of. So it's more like anything they say, you don't care because they don't love you. After all, they're divorced. But I want to assure you that divorce doesn't mean you're not loved.
I also want to add like a little bit to this.
Mm-hmm.
I think growing up, I was also angry. I was a very angry child growing up. But I think how I am now is I hate conflict. I always avoid conflict. I'm quick to apologize, quick to move away. But I just want to let anyone that's going through this know that you are not I know we've already said our products of divorce, but like you're not your parents' mistakes or your parents'
Mm-hmm.
harmful decisions. So just because your parents got divorced doesn't mean that you have to be angry all the time,
Mm-hmm.
or there isn't going to be a brighter side to it. Trust me, you're going to come out fine. If it's families, your children are going to come out fine. Your family is going to come out of this fine. At the end of the day, it's just a rough patch in life. Yeah. So let's just read the second response. This person says, "Not seeing my dad for years. Guess I got used to detachment."
Well, I'm in this boat too, so
Mm.
um, what can I say? You'd get used to it. That's the truth of it. This one is not a oh they don't love you matter. They don't as long as a parent has decided, I don't know if your dad is insisting to see you and you don't want to see him, or your mom is not allowing you. But if it's a you thing or it's a your dad thing, he doesn't want to see you as he has not tried to reach out, you would eventually, you like you already said, you would eventually get used to it.
And I also think they shouldn't don't let it get so unhealthy that it starts to affect your relationship, like the present and the good
Mm-hmm.
and flourishing relationships that you have,
Mm-hmm.
because then you get it's easy for you to detach and to not care about certain things. But I just think that just don't let it get too far. take people for who they are. If you can't see your dad for a reason or another, I think try your best to be understanding, as you said earlier. Also forgive and just
Mm-hmm.
say, we're human beings, we have flaws, but I'm going to step away from this. Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean reconciliation. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
go back to him. You don't have to say, I want this relationship by force, by fire. So yeah.
I really just want to add to that because I feel like we've been talking so much about the child's perspective, and I wanted to add that as a father and as a mother, you
Mm-hmm.
should put maximum efforts in talking to your child, in
Yeah.
seeing your child.
Reminding them that they're loved.
Even what's it called? Even the court doesn't restrict parents from seeing their children. You can you do not have to live with them before you show responsibility. If we're talking about family values, we're talking about commitment. How committed are you to seeing your child? Perform your roles and your responsibility as a parent. You do not have to live with your child before you do what you're meant to do as parents. So you're saying, okay, so the wife doesn't want you to, sorry, not wife now. The woman doesn't want you to see the child again, doesn't want you to, but doesn't want the child to stay with you, and she has already won the court case. What do you do as a father? You call her, I want to speak to my son. Put me on speaker. I've sent some money to my son.
Yeah.
What does he want for his school fees? So you don't have to be there, but they know that you're present. But ghosting off, I don't think is the right thing to do as a father or
Or
as
as
a
a
mother.
mother. Just because you've stopped being a spouse doesn't mean you've stopped being a parent, or you should stop being a parent. Human beings will come
Mhm.
with layers of responsibilities and layers of roles. So I think just because one role has ended doesn't mean the others should stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the last response is consider your children. Make sure to tell them the full truth. Don't
Mhm.
sugarcoat anything. Bear in mind that it's also very traumatic for them, and try to be present in their lives.
Yeah. I think this just ties together everything that we've been trying to
Mm-hmm.
say. Tell your children how it is. If your child is 5, say it to a 5-year-old, a way a 5-year-old
Would
will
understand.
understand, but
Mm-hmm.
don't lie to that 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Just say, Mommy and Daddy, we're not really friends right now, and we're trying our best to
Mm-hmm.
to step away from each other, or something like that. But Mommy and Daddy still love you, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I think that makes the most sense
Yeah.
than saying, "Oh, Daddy went away for a business trip and he won't be back."
Or saying things like your daddy doesn't love you, your daddy left you,
Oh, you're
knowing fully well that the child is very little and would believe anything you tell the child. So instead of saying your daddy left you, your daddy doesn't love you,
Mhm.
mommy and daddy are not good right now, and daddy is going to be gone for a very long time. You would still speak to dad over the phone or something. You don't have to lie, because you're not just doing that for you. Remember that you should not do something out of hate, because it affects that child. So you owe the child the truth, even if it's not at the time. When the child is old enough to know the truth, you should let the child know the reason for the divorce, and you should
Yeah.
always keep the child in mind. I'm not saying other people should not be prioritized in the family, but you should know that the child is still very young and still has a lot of years to live. And so every parent out there, you're divorced and you're not together again, do not lie to your children. Tell them the truth about the divorce. Tell them, oh, you owe them that, right? And always be present in your children's life. It boils down to everything we've been talking about from the beginning of the podcast to the end of the
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah. And without saying any more, we want to come to the conclusion, and we want to end
This
this podcast, this episode
episode.
of We Talk Real Talk,
Yeah.
and we would see you in
The
another
next
video.
one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.